Hi, welcome to Truth with Tal Isaac. I'm Tal.
I'm Isaac.
Episode number 136 coming at you tonight. Detroit Tigers mania. Electric Ethan is in the house. We got our top 5 NFL takes and then 5 underappreciated movies.
Welcome to the show, Ethan.
Welcome to the show, E.
Thank you guys for having me.
Electric,
it's an honor to be here.
Electric Ethan's got a nice ring to it.
I got to rename my fantasy team to that.
Okay.
I want to introduce Ethan.
Yes, please.
People might not know Ethan. As a matter of fact, many Windsorrites might not know Ethan. He's an Amherstburg resident and a proud one at that. So we met through mutual friend Matt Wismer, fan of the show, guest of the show, friend of Tal's as well. Correct?
Correct. We feed families, and he's actually our NCAA expert.
Yep. Ethan Bauer is a data engineer. Brackets. I still don't know what that means. He's probably explained it 4 times, maybe more ad nauseum.
Basically, people like Ethan invented war in baseball, and he's actually invented some crazy stat as well. Tried to explain it to me. I didn't understand it.
He's a very bright individual. He's a triathlete. He's a rock climber. He's an Ottawa resident. And then I said he loves his community. All of his communities, he loves them. I think we'll get to some of that. And I wrote down he's crazy as us. And I'll just say he matches our energy.
Yes,
he matches our energy.
Yep, energy, electricity, those are keywords for tonight's podcast.
And he's a fan of competition in sport. Not a huge sports guy, but he's just a fan of the game. And he's very impressionable in a good way, in the best way.
basketball with Ian, and he can run.
Yeah.
Good effort.
Thank you.
Very impressionable. We'll get to that with Tigers.
Not a spectacular finisher.
No. The finish could get some work,
You've
but
got a good touch.
next summer we'll be back, and we'll be better than ever.
Prison ball, for sure.
Yep.
Okay, so off the top, so let you go ahead. I just wanted to, Ethan, do you want to add to your intro? How did I do?
That intro was absolutely beautiful. I just want to stress, Amherstburg, everybody should buy a house there. Amherstburg is the loveliest community in the world, and moving to Ottawa has just confirmed that further for me.
All right, thank you very much, Councillor Crane. Ohio State spending $20 million to buy a championship. I don't think that's got enough hype. Like, it's ridiculous. Now, it's fine. They're all in this year. But if they don't win, what's their next play?
So I don't know what you're talking about.
They spent $20 million. Look it up. True fans of the show already know what I'm talking about, but SI did an article on the weekend just about how much money SI is spending to keep all their players and bring all these transfers in.
Who's spending money?
Ohio State University.
Oh, okay. I thought you said SI.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ohio State is spending all... He did say SI. Ohio State's spending all this money.
News source.
He's spending all this money on what?
Players.
Yeah,
Not
okay.
coaches, players.
Is it framed as NIL stuff or is it framed as illegal stuff?
NIL stuff.
Okay. But it's probably illegal.
Oh, I'm sure there's underneath, like under the table stuff and tattoos for, swag and things along those lines. Ohio State's got a long history of that.
Okay, next one.
Okay, Blake's hair is bad. Had to work that in.
Blake, I love you, man. You're a great guy. I think you're awesome.
I liked the hair.
I like him too.
Yeah,
Dan Campbell's Applebee's commercial. Did anybody see it?
I did.
It's pretty good.
It's an excellent commercial. He's very funny. He's got good comedic timing.
He's
my guy.
awesome.
He's like John Cena.
He's a national celebrity now. He's big time.
Okay, anything else?
I need to talk about Michigan's win just for a minute.
Yeah, of course.
Boy, their offense is rough.
Why are we opening with that?
Well,
Great job, Michigan, 1-0.
Michigan's
right?
1-0. A win is a win. Defense is solid. Obviously, Johnson with a big pick 6 to steal it. I didn't expect a lot, but I'm a little worried about Texas this weekend. Can I say that?
We're gonna be 2-0. We have a championship.
Good.
We already
Perfect.
won it.
You've done more insight than me, and realistically, Michigan fans hold their hands up in the air for 5 years and say, "We champs, we champs, we champs." So it's all good.
Well, that's the thing. This is a side topic, but it's when you win a championship, the kind of general rule in sports is 5 years. You can suck for 5 years.
Agreed.
And it's fine. And then after the 5th year, it's like, all right, let's do something.
Except if you're from New York. New York doesn't have that patience.
Well, here's the thing. We've had, me personally, Bauer, our timeline here, we've had such little success. I'm willing to give the Wolverines football team a decade.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if that's all I've got.
97 is the last year they won.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, the Lions, that's changing this year, as they'll be winning a Super Bowl.
Yep.
At that.
You heard it here, maybe 78th.
Yeah. And then, like you've got the other teams. But I'm just saying, I'm giving Michigan more leeway simply because I was starving for a championship, and now I have one. That's what I have.
Okay. Bauer?
Some absolute beautiful takes right there.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs might have it, but
Oh, dude.
Well, we can get to that later.
Oh, you actually can't say
Hey,
that.
Ethan, thanks very much for coming to the show. Have a great night.
Yeah, go back to Ottawa. Sorry. Like, you actually, all kidding aside, that's not funny.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
U.S. Open is fun to watch, and it just kind of translates into here's the nice thing about sports, right? You can find competition and entertainment in so many different sports. Like 9 days ago, you really didn't care about watching tennis.
Fact.
And now he does, because he's able just to appreciate the athleticism, the shot making, the skill, but also just the competition, right? Like competition can take place in many forms. It can take place in lawn darts, which I'm not sure if they're legal anymore because of stabbings. It can take place in basketball and tennis, whatever it is.
Talk about some of your obscure competition, Bao.
Yes.
You've got
Some
one coming up.
obscure
Yeah, we have
competition.
some obscure competition. Please talk about.
I have the
triathlons.
Ironman Michigan 70.3 coming up. Just met a couple Windsorites on the weekend who are also going to be there.
Cool.
That was very entertaining.
You want to give him a shout out?
You don't have to.
Terry Godant, I believe was his name. I didn't
Terry.
quite catch the last name, but he's going to Kona this year as well.
Probably fan of the show, I would think.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Corey Belmore, that's a big one.
Oh, he's the beer mile guy.
He's the beer mile guy.
Well,
He's
I
going to
think
be
he
at
probably
Ironman
has
70.3.
other attributes, but he's the beer mile guy.
Yep.
Ethan's running the Ironman, and I can't wait to cheer him on from home.
Thank you.
He's going to do great.
Thank you.
It is
Lots of support.
4.5 hours from here. We did have a discussion about whether we would go there. We probably decided when he makes the Olympics, we're going to fly to the Olympics and cheer him on then.
There we
Yeah,
go.
I will be there no matter
Oh,
what.
man, we'd be a great cheering squad.
Okay, do you have anything else, or can we talk about football now?
One last shout out. My
Please.
boss as well. He will be there at the Ironman 70.3 Michigan.
Rock
We'll
on.
be doing it with him.
You've got a great employee here.
Under 6.
Thank you.
Right, under 6 is his goal.
6.5, 6. His goal is 6. Mine
His
is
goal
6.5.
You're 6.5. Okay, 2 good goals.
Okay, let's talk about football for a bit. Not super long, but it's all I think about these days.
Football is here.
Okay, go ahead. Talk about football.
Okay, we love football. It's so entertaining. And they've taken over virtually every night of the week, and that's okay. It's just the way it is, right? Like people just need to be comfortable with the fact that, like, for a long time the NFL said no, we're not going to go Friday just because of Friday Night Lights, and that's high school football in America. And then they finally said, show me the money, and they're like running Friday nights. The NFL season is evolving even before it starts. So we have a few hot takes, probably different, I would hope different than the hot takes that we did last week.
Varying in heat.
Yes.
Yeah, some
yeah.
some are scorching. Some are like on the chillier side.
Yeah, some of them are just standard.
they're-
Okay, that's obvious.
They're worth mentioning. So, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I need to bring up a sensitive one. Ricky Persall, the dude who got shot from San Francisco, like, that's bad. And I guess he's a pretty good dude. So that's just crappy. Now, I need to say, I'm glad it's not a Detroit Lion that got shot. So, San Francisco, but see, that's the problem. They have culture issues.
Interesting.
So, I don't think Amon-Ra St. Brown is putting himself in that situation.
Okay,
He's too smart.
No, we're moving on. That's
Yep.
all I'll say with. But
I guess
okay.
that was kind of a hot take.
Very hot.
Man got shot. I'm glad he's okay.
I said that first.
I said it second. Howard.
I'm also glad that this San Francisco 49 player is okay.
Good.
Okay.
Good.
So I guess now is not a good time to spew anti-49ers propaganda.
You should probably drop that a little lower on the list.
That was my one. I'll move it to 3 maybe. Okay, so your number one hot take is you are glad Ricky Persall is okay. That's your number one
That's
prediction.
my number one take, and then a couple of other words following that.
Okay, Bao, do you want to get one that's maybe not bad?
No, but I will throw it out there anyway, even though it's bad. I think it is a Lions-Chiefs Super Bowl, and I think the Chiefs do have it. 3-peat, going to be a historic year.
I'm
Historic
okay
for
with
the
that
Lions
take.
as well.
I mean, I said that last week, just the Lions win.
All right, well, I'll do that now then. Last week I was in on the Bengals. I've changed my mind. I'm out on the Bengals. I've heard enough anti-Jamar Chase stuff that's kind of scaring me a bit.
Playing or what's his deal?
I think he's going to miss week 1, or he'll be out there out of shape. So swap my Bengals praise with doubling down on my Texans praise.
Okay,
So I'm going Lions over Texans, Soupy.
That's a pretty hot take, right? A lot of people love those two teams. Like, there's some bets on a Lions-Texans Super Bowl, and that line is dropping.
That's interesting. Yeah, like so I wrote down Texans over Chiefs in AFC Championship. Bao, you're in on the Chiefs. You know the 3-peat would be historic. And, as an aspiring historian, I'm just going off. It's not going to happen this year.
It would be historic for Lions to be in the Super Bowl as well, though.
We're getting history either way there.
Yep.
Maybe we get 2 history. I would just like the Lions to be there and Lions to win. So I have Texans over Chiefs AFC Championship, and then Lions over Texans in the Soupy. No surprise there. And what else? What else you guys got?
I have New England and Denver with the worst records in the league. Each of them will be 3-14, and then they'll coin flip for first place.
Okay, go ahead, Bao. What do you got?
Potential hot take here. I have Aaron Rodgers at more than 5 snaps this year.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
Oh, really good stuff. Did you come up with that?
Yep.
That's really
That's a
good.
good one. That's creative.
Yeah, that'd be unfortunate. That's okay, though. I mean, no, it'd be good. I want him to be healthy, right?
I don't want him to be healthy.
Well, we've already talked enough about players getting hurt/shot, so that's enough.
We want everybody to be healthy, and that way when the Lions make it to the Super Bowl, there's no asterisk.
That's a great take, and that's relevant.
He's immunized. Oh, actually, let's be really clear about that. I don't care how many players the Lions play that unfortunately they get injured, because nobody remembers.
Okay. Well, okay, yeah, I see what you're saying.
No, the asterisk stuff, it doesn't
I don't care.
exist.
Give me whoever. The NFC is weak. I'll just put this out now. The NFC is very weak. Did a deep dive today, and let me just go in. Lions are getting the 1 seed, and they're getting 12 wins. And I think 12 wins will get you the 1 seed this year in the NFC. So I'm a little higher on the Lions because it's just I look around. I'm out on the Niners pre-shooting. I'm out on the Eagles. I'm out on the Cowboys. I'm kind of in on Green Bay, but they're not winning the division. So, like, you're telling me Green Bay is going to be the second best team in the NFC, and they're going to be a wild card.
Rams and Atlanta are
and I'm
there.
I'm in on the Rams. Like,
I'm in on the Rams as well, but they've got some injuries also.
I will say this. So, Lions have getting the 1 seed, 12 wins. They got to be aggressive at the deadline. And this kind of leads me to my next point, which I'll just do now, and then you can go. Devontae Adams. I think he's going to be dealt at the deadline.
Yes.
If you look at who the Raiders have in the state of that division and his history, I think he's going to be traded. I think he's going to demand a trade and be gone.
Is he going to the Jets?
Jets was the first team I wrote down.
Yeah.
It's kind of iffy with cap, and the Lions could be a facilitator, which would be hilarious. The Patriots, they have cap. I don't think Devontae Adams wants to go to the Patriots, but they have cap. The Steelers, everyone seems to wants to go to lose in Pittsburgh, so he could go there. The Lions, need receiving help, and Adams might be out there. I'm not saying he's going to the Lions. I'm saying Devontae Adams will be traded, and the Lions will be buying potentially wide receiver. Just leaving that there. Anyone want to chime in on that? Tell me I'm wrong or
I think you're right. Okay. I think it's a good take.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Bao, what do you got?
I got one more. Some more Lions propaganda to spread here. Potentially, Jared Goff MVP season.
Woo, boy.
Okay.
That's a real hot take.
Curious what the line is for that. I'm not much of a betting man, but I would love to bet that line.
So look, here's the thing. And it's purely like not a Lions bias. Look, if you're in on the Lions and you think they're going to be the 1 seed, then their quarterback is going to be a top 3 MVP candidate.
Agreed. Like if your team wins 13 games and you get lots of opportunities, because play action on the Lions is better because they have the best running back duo in the league and they have the best offensive line in the league. So if you get Montgomery bashed in your face 3 times in a row and you play action, you throw a 50-yard fade to JMO, that's a 50-yarder in the books. Doesn't really matter that the linebackers are moved up and the safeties are moved up. It's still a 50-yard touchdown pass.
There's that perspective. And then there's simply the, Brock Purdy 49ers MVP buzz. Last year the 49ers were great. Brock Purdy's quarterback. He's going to get MVP buzz.
I'm down on Brock.
Bao, I completely agree with you. If I'm in on the Lions, which I am, Goff is their quarterback, and he's going to be right up there for MVP. So, Bao, I love it. I love it, man. Go ahead. What else you guys got?
Sean McDermott, first coach to get fired. His season starts off a little bit tough. Both the coordinators are gone. They got rid of Russ. Somebody's going to say, hey, we keep losing. What's the common denominator here? Boom, you're out of here.
That's not bad. I don't mind that at all.
Yeah.
Can I do anti-49ers?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's time.
So I hope everyone recovers well who plays for the 49ers. Trent Williams had a gun to the man's head who runs the Niners. I'm just metaphorically speaking, of course. He got his money, is what I'm trying to say. He got a ton of money and a lot of it guaranteed.
But isn't he 36 years old and kind of out of shape?
We talked about old man Trent ad nauseum. He's gonna go to the retirement home soon. Is where he'll be off to soon. I don't think they'll win the division. I did more research. I think the Rams will win the division.
Actually, I think you're right.
Yes. And then I think Arizona is probably gonna get a wild card team. I really like Arizona, but then I like Seattle. So basically, the whole division's great, and the Niners aren't winning the division. Is what I'll wrap up with.
It's a good take.
Okay. Bao?
Electric E, what do you got?
We've got one last one that's coming in from our good friend, Old Man Wiz is what we call him. And he's saying Bryce Young, mini breakout season. They have a huge improvement to their O-line, and they brought in Deontay Johnson.
Okay, mini breakout season has a lot of different terms.
It does. That's the problem with it.
Regular sized players or just little players?
I think Wiz did that as a joke because the Bryce Young's height jokes, and that's why it's a mini breakout season.
I saw Wiz yesterday. He looks a little taller.
He does. Okay, let's see. I've got more. Eagles are going to win that division there. I'm not in on them.
That's an interesting take. I have no idea who's going to win
Dallas
that
is the
division.
favorite.
Yeah.
Dallas, I don't think should be the favorite. I think if you're getting plus money with Philly, again, I don't love Philly, but I take them to win that.
Again, you get plus one. I agree. Records continue to fall. Offensive records, especially. The Cheetah's going to sniff 2,000 yards receiving.
That means Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill, fast.
My first
dude.
draft picked in fantasy this year.
Oh.
Talk
It's a
about
good
your
pick.
draft.
Draft went all right. I made a big mistake, and I got second overall draft pick. When it came around the snake, I picked up Josh Allen for my third pick. I don't think that was the right
Was it
move.
your third pick or your second pick?
My third pick, because it came around.
Yeah.
I forget who I picked up
That's
second
okay.
overall.
Marvin
it was
Harrison.
Marvin Harrison Jr., yes.
Which is a good pick.
I don't know. He's from Ohio State. Don't love that.
Nice. Good job.
Oh,
Then it came
he's a great
around.
receiver. He's a great receiver.
He's a great receiver.
Listen, I know nobody likes to hear about other people's fantasy football leagues or teams, but it's interesting, right? Like, people talk about it. You're going to be able to talk about it with people at work.
First year in it, it's everybody at work is in it.
And I help out with his draft. Couple misses, but overall, it's a great team. Really, it really,
Thank you.
truly is.
Thank you.
Like, it's a 4.5 out of 5.
Oh, that's higher than I would put it.
Probably a 4.
Okay.
And my last bit here, I said this last time, I just have to reemphasize it. Ben Johnson, assistant of the year.
Yeah.
Whatever the odds are, I haven't bet it yet. I'm going to bet it. Like, it's going to be plus 800 or plus 1,000. Put a couple dollars on it. Because I think he was second and third like the past couple of years. He's going to win this award. The Lions are going to win 12 games, 11 games, win the division, maybe the conference.
Yep.
So just, if you want to make money, bet on Ben Johnson. That's what I got.
Okay.
That's all I have on NFL.
I have one last take. Obviously, NFL is going global. They're in Brazil. In the next 2 years, they're going to play a game in Saudi Arabia.
Ooh.
I don't love that because Saudi money just seems to be able to buy whatever they want to, but they're gonna play in the desert sometime soon.
Yeah, all that to stay away from me. Val, thoughts?
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. I could see them playing anywhere in the world at this point. You're right. They're definitely a global franchise, if you will.
Yep.
Okay. Now, do you have anything else on football? I love it. I'm glad it's back.
Football's back.
Yeah. Do we talk about the Tigers now?
I think we should talk about the Detroit Tigers, the hottest team in baseball. So the problem is I overuse that expression a little bit. So when they actually are the hottest team in baseball, Daniela, wife, mom, just thinks I'm lying. But then when she finds out from other people, not Isaac, that they are the hottest team in baseball, she gets excited. So we all went to the game on Saturday night. But it was a wonderful experience. Scooby, Cy Young, that whole deal, 184 Tigers. But realistically, the key component to this show is Electric E's conversion to being a Tiger Maniac fan. E, we paved the way for you. Go crazy.
Huge Tiger Mania this week. Isaac had perhaps more Tiger Mania than me. He went to 4 games this week. I went to 3, all with Isaac. He brought me around the CoPa experience package. We bought some cheap tickets, scalped a little bit, got to meet a bunch of cool people at the stadium. That was the highlight, is the
And outside
community.
the stadium.
And outside the stadium. Some scalpers knew Isaac by face. They said that they saw us on the Jumbotron the night before. Getting on the Jumbotron, electric stuff there.
Multiple times.
Multiple times on TV, people texting about that.
I think you should open with the Tuesday game.
The Tuesday
The first game you went to.
That was the first game, and that was my second favorite of the 3.
Okay, start with Tuesday and fill him in.
Give the background because it's entertaining.
And he was unconscious.
I was asleep for
Yeah.
part of it. Actually, most of it.
Like when we left, he missed a lot of what happened that fateful evening. So, Bao, go ahead. Just kind of set it up.
I come over to Isaac's house. We're going to watch a movie. It's going to be a sweet little chill night. And then I get here. It's raining outside. Isaac tells me about this rain delay for the Tigers game. And previously, not big into baseball whatsoever. Would really never watch it. I thought it was a boring game. I will say that. After this week, one of my favorite sports, if not my favorite sport currently. But get to Isaac's house early, and then we find out it's a rain delay. We look on the news and everything. We see it starts at 9:40. Right about 9 o'clock, if that.
9:25.
9:25. Okay, we
Yeah.
run out of the house.
I did send you that message.
So I think what happened was
then I went to sleep.
we were downstairs. He was upstairs. At 9 p.m., he's like, the game starts in 25 minutes, and we went upstairs 2 minutes later, and that man was unconscious
I was asleep.
on the living room couch, albeit.
And then I woke up at like 9:30 and I said, "Where's Isaac?"
So from 9 to 9:10, I kind of like throw a jersey and a hat at Bauer. The very poncho that hangs behind us, I threw that on. And we drove to the game like 10 minutes. We left like 15 minutes before it started with no tickets. Bao, Go ahead, take it away.
Run around the stadium outside. Isaac says, hold up 2 fingers, start yelling, we need 2, we need 2. So we finagle our way in a little bit, $10 tickets, sneak down right behind the home plate there, and the seats
that were not used. You didn't
seats
take
that were not
anybody's
used,
seats.
and
They
it
were
was
wet.
it was pretty empty stadium. Nobody really wanted to be there anyways. Not because the Tigers aren't good. The Tigers are great, but it was rained out, rain delay for about 3 hours or so. We knew it was going to be a lighter night, so we sit behind home plate. We get chants going, which I didn't think that I was capable of. Sometimes I get a little anxious in crowds, but at the Tigers game,
That's gone.
it's gone totally.
That's gone.
We are manic
Expulsion
to the max.
therapy.
Yes, exactly. And so we get a bunch of chants going. It's an absolutely electric night. The Tigers win it. It was so good. Changed my life, I would say. And Isaac let me wear this hat that I'm wearing right now.
Paddington Bear.
Paddington Bear hat. That we'll talk about that later.
And then at the end of the game, I got a ball, and there's no youth around because it's midnight at this point. They're all asleep. So I gave it to Bauer, and the ball he sent me a picture of like 2 days later. It says, I can't stop thinking about the game. So that was Tuesday, which was the second favorite for you said?
Yes.
But what was your favorite?
Favorite would be Friday.
Well, I think we should talk about Wednesday.
Okay.
Because
Wednesday can be a little quicker. That was with Old Man Wiz, which was awesome to have him there as well.
Yeah.
I got to meet Isaac's cousin Colin.
Yep.
That was a great time, as well as his girlfriend Sarah. We saw them at the game, and I immediately, when they got in that conversation, I said my hellos, and then I saw some hot dog people yelling about hot dogs, and it's always been a dream to run around the stadium yelling, hot dog, hot dog. So I go up and I ask him if I can try to sell a hot dog. And so I'm just yelling with them
That's a
for
good take.
probably 5 minutes. Hot dogs, beers. Nobody unfortunately bought anything, but they offered me a job, which was pretty cool. Isaac got offered a job potentially later on. We can talk about that.
no, I'm going to have to figure out how to edit, I think, now. Talk about the Friday game.
Okay, so Friday, my favorite game. I think it was due to more people, more mania. We got to meet people who we refer to as Mom and Pa.
They're playing Boston.
They were playing Boston.
That's a bigger draw.
Yeah, definitely a bigger draw. Unfortunately, we lost that game, but we had lots of chants going. We were seen on TV by multiple of my friends who texted me afterward, and we were doing sort of a tomahawk chop,
but not
with a 3-finger symbol because we were yelling
with
ball
nothing,
3.
with no slight toward the indigenous community.
Not at all.
Nope.
Nothing but respect.
We were yelling at the pitcher, and the pitcher was, is a veteran, so we may have referred to him as an old man multiple times in chant form.
Hill?
Jansen.
Oh, Jansen. Okay, that's right.
So lots of chants. We did rally caps. We got the whole section. I think this was the best vibe. I
Yes.
think the people around us had the most aura, if you will. Dad, define aura. What does that mean?
When you walk out and people around you within 100 feet just kind of get their eyes slightly blinded by just the brilliance and powerfulness of your being. And the example that we just had 2 weeks ago was, less than that, Novak Djokovic walking out onto Arthur Ashe Court. And we're like, wow, is that ever aura? Right?
Aura.
Hitman Tommy Hearns, I saw him met him in about 1983. That was aura.
What are some other terms that you know?
Riz. I heard that on the last
Riz.
podcast.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else on the Friday game?
I have one more thing just on the general Tigers experience and how it's changed my view on life even.
Okay.
So a lot of people in the section, at first, you got to plant the seed with them by just shaking their hand, giving them high fives, whatever, and that'll come into play later. And I think a lot of people in this world are looking for leadership or direction. Everybody wants to be included in a larger group, but everybody's sort of scared to start the larger group.
People are hesitant to stand up and lead.
Yes, exactly. But me and Isaac at the game, we stood up and led on multiple occasions, and I think everyone loved it, Boston Red Sox fans included.
Present company is not hesitant to stand up and lead.
Not at all. And that has sort of changed my perspective on starting chants and everything in public,
Awesome.
talking to a bunch more people. Everybody's looking for somebody to make the first step.
You can influence herd mentality in a very positive way.
Good
Yes.
herd mentality.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I'm just emphasizing that.
Yeah, you're rescuing the baby, not stepping on the old guy.
Okay. So Saturday game, Bao unfortunately wasn't at. OG was. You want to talk about your perspective on that? The game, Jumbotron experience, anything?
So Allsops had invited Isaac, so they had already planned to go. And then what happened, I'm looking ahead at Scooble, who is the Cy Young Award. Pretty much, they're going to be taking his off the board from a betting perspective. He was pitching let's go. I convinced Daniela to go. She was in. We sat in wonderful seats. Weather was great.
Wonderful.
Sun's going down. Everybody around us were high-fiving and having fun. Skubal, I thought was going to pitch 5, maybe 6 innings. He goes 8 innings. Like the Boston Red Sox guy behind me is like, no way he's coming out for 7.
That's
no
endurance
way
right
he's
there.
coming out for 8. They just said, it's my Cy Young. We want to win this game, so we're going to do it. They only had 2 runs. The last 7 innings of the game were scoreless. It was a 2-hour game, which is fun to go see. We were home by 9 o'clock, like in our house. It was awesome.
Splendid. Anything else on the game?
Spectacular time at the ballpark.
Truly it was.
Yep.
And now I guess this kind of goes to, we love the Tigers, and we, like the past 6 years, really were tough.
Yeah.
But we were still going all the time. Like,
Yeah, what means if the Tigers are no good, you know what that really translates to? Cheap seats.
That's
Yeah.
true.
I do have one question for you, Isaac Bauer. You're certainly welcome to chime in. Today, with the Tigers in their standings, should they have held on to Flaherty at the break?
it's neither here nor there. So,
Somebody asked me that question at work, and I said, back then, I think it was the right decision. I would have been upset if they didn't trade Flaherty.
you know, when I look at the baseball, I don't like to focus on the past. I like to focus on the present and the future. And the present's
Future
positive.
is the Tigers.
Okay, so we love the Tigers. We just wanted meaningful games in September, and that leads to meaningful games in October. And currently, it's September, and they play tonight. And Bauer, what would you define tonight's game as?
Aura.
Or I was going to say meaningful.
Meaningful,
It's a
albeit.
meaningful game tonight, and this is the first time we've had meaningful baseball in September, probably since 2016. So this is a big deal for us, and we're still going all the time. We are so back. We've never been more back. Unforeseen levels of back.
We chanted that in the stadium at one point.
Unforeseen levels of back?
Yeah, we actually were yelling like
Long one.
we yelled. We chanted. We are so back, and we
Okay,
probably
we
got
are so back. That's good.
we got forced. Like this is when I think this is when they were down 4-0. Was this Friday when they were down 4-0?
Oh, and they came back, tied scoreboard, 4 runs in the bottom of the 9th. Then we won't talk about the conclusion.
Yeah. When Carey hit the home run to make it 4-3, and then in the 9th, I think they got a run. When Carey hit the home run, I think you said this is one of your best moments of your life. I think is what you said. And that's when we chanted, "We are so back." So lots of Tigers this week. I looked into going to San Diego to watch the fellas. Flights were a little out of my range. By a little, I mean about $700 out of my range. And they were $800 seats. So that kind of tells you what I was working with. But look, love the Tigers. We're back. Bauer, do you have any thoughts? Like, do you want to talk about the impact? Do you have anything more to add on that?
I think the fans truly impact the game in unforeseen ways. We had multiple chants. I think we were making the Tigers swing a little bit harder. I'll be honest. In the Friday game, one of my favorite moments was when we had our dear friends Ma and Pa, and we got everybody in our entire section to do our favorite chant, which is, "We need a son, Torkelson." And then he hits hard.
We had the whole
That's
section.
pretty good.
Yelling
I mean, I
totals.
can say with absolute certainty that we helped contribute to the Lions' 2 playoff victories.
Fact.
Without a doubt.
That's a fact.
Let's hear
Yep.
about this.
Go ahead.
So we went to the 2 Lions playoff games, but it wasn't just us. Like 2.5, 3 hours before the game, stands are packed, yelling, screaming. Like you hear players talk about it, and like, oh my gosh, it's 90 minutes before kickoff, and I couldn't hear myself think. Yelling, screaming the whole time. There was a fair amount of talk back and forth about Jared Goff and Matt Stafford, and people just chanting Jared Goff like crazy. We were so passionate. We were so into it. And it wasn't just us. Like, I'm going to say with comfortable numbers, 55 of the 61,000 people that were there screaming their heads off. End of the game, we were crying. We were so emotional. It was such a big deal. We influenced that game. The Lions now have the best home field in football.
Wow.
In sports at that.
Wow.
Actually.
A bucket list item real quick is to be at a football game with this chant yelling, and then they have to call a timeout. That would be
That's a lot of fun.
be
Yeah.
the best.
Or if they get an offside penalty.
Yeah.
That's a good
Something
one,
like that.
Yep.
Just affecting the game, really.
Lots of things in baseball. Like, there was one point where we were yelling, and I think there was a pitch clock violation. In our
There was,
benefit.
yeah.
And I just took that and said, "That's us, guys. We just gave them."
Ball one. Ball two. That's right.
That was one of the chants. So I've got, the Tigers. I love them. We're so back. We're sniffing the playoffs. It's just, this team is just.
Meaningful games in September is what we asked for. It is what we got.
Thank you, Mr. Scott Harris, for delivering this team to
Thanks,
us.
Scott. Appreciate you.
Bauer, do you have to?
Probably a fan of the show as well.
Yeah, hopefully.
Thank you, Scott Harris. Thank you, Mom and Pop.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are our friends with me.
Very good.
Thanks. Go ahead.
Now we're going to transition into movie topic. A lot of our fans really like the movie topics. Like we've had some other really good topics sandwiches and condiments and things like that. But movie topics are always hot.
Yeah.
So what we each have are 5 movies that we prepared independently of just underrated movies. They could be blockbusters that are just not getting as much hype as they need to, or they could be movies that are not terribly well known, especially by this younger generation, that I'm going to pass on a bit of wisdom. Say, hey, you should check that one out.
So underrated movies, varying in underratedness. I only did one foreign movie. Because
I did one foreign movie as well.
I
Okay.
wonder if it's the same.
2 foreigns.
Okay, so
Oh,
this will
boy.
be interesting. I have no cartoon movies as well.
I've got 3.
Oh my, that's not gonna like that. He is anti-cartoon.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the cartoon movies. Some of them, like Shrek, is pretty solid. Incredibles are pretty solid, but like if you pull out Star Wars cartoon stuff on me, that's not real stuff.
Correction though, it's 2. It's 2.
Okay.
I made a
Okay.
swap.
Okay, so Bauer, hit us with your first underrated movie.
Okay, first underrated movie. These are not in order. I will do Puss in Boots: The Last Wish.
Great one. Did you see it, Dad?
No.
5-star movie. One of the
5
best storytelling.
stars?
Yep. Terrific storytelling. One of the best villains in cinema.
Okay, I'll get it.
I
Better
loved it.
villain than Darth Vader, Hannibal Lecter.
I would say those 2, yes. Joker beats them.
He's really scary. Puss in Boots villain. He's
Very
actually really
scary.
I gotta watch it. I wrote it down.
He'll never watch that. What's your first movie, Dad?
Victory or Escape to Victory that Isaac recently watched. Bauer, you didn't watch it as well, did you?
No, but you told me about it the other day.
Michael Caine, Sylvester Stallone, Pele, World War II. It's the German national team versus a bunch of prisoners of war. Now, it was done a long time ago, I believe 1981. So the graphics aren't spectacular, but it's a great story. It's a very entertaining film. Warms your heart in a terrible backdrop.
Yeah, POWs in soccer. It's just pretty it's metal.
Yeah.
And it makes it like the soccer is actually really good in it. Like the sport looks great.
Well, Pele was awesome.
Yeah, Michael Caine. You could tell Michael Caine probably wasn't playing a lot of soccer. That's fine.
No, Michael Caine needed to go on a little bit of Ozempic before filming, but that didn't exist in 1981.
And then Sylvester Stallone is the goalie. There's kind of some question marks there, but it's awesome. It's a really great movie. So I'll start with one that I know OG saw because I made him watch it. I don't know if Bauer's seen it, but it's totally up his alley. Godzilla -1.
It's a good one.
Okay, so it's on Netflix. Very accessible.
Yeah, watch it.
It's in Japanese. It's awesome. It's not awesome as a Godzilla movie. It's awesome as a World War II movie. And then it's just oh, there's Godzilla right there, and he looks so cool. Great movie. Dad, you stayed up for it. All
Yep.
2 hours of it at
Yep.
that. Thoughts on the film?
It's a wonderful movie. Honestly, it really does a good job capturing post-World War II Japan, which was going through a really difficult time for obvious reasons.
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer. But I like the science. I like the character development. I like Godzilla. It's just cool.
And the music's awesome. The score's awesome. Watch Godzilla -1. That's what I
Agreed.
have. Bao, what do you have?
I'm going to come in with another foreign movie after Isaac's take right there. And I'm going to do Burning.
I don't even know
Korean
this.
film.
Oh, this is a deep cut, dude.
It's not that deep of a cut, but it's an incredible film.
I've heard of it, but
Can't tell you any spoilers about it. It's a must watch.
Okay.
5 stars.
any streaming service?
The foreign ones are hard to get a streaming service for.
Isaac can probably find it for me. That's the deal. It's either streaming service easy or Isaac find it for me.
Correct.
Do that.
Okay, what's your next movie?
Well, listen, there's a bit of a theme. We did not plan for this. Life is Beautiful. Roberto Benigni. First movie ever nominated for Best Picture and Best Foreign Film. It's a World War II drama, comedy. Roberto Benigni is literally an Italian treasure, and he was wonderful in that movie. And if you have not seen Life is Beautiful, go see it. Of all the movies listed so far, it's probably the best quality picture, and real viewers say it's a great movie.
Okay, buddy. I'll give you some cinema. 1958, Alfred Hitchcock legacy game, Vertigo.
Vertigo, that's a good one too.
Not super easy to find. It's awesome. It could come out today, just as is, and everyone would love it, and it'd win 7 Oscars, and people wouldn't stop talking about it. Super awesome. Dad, you probably saw it once in the 80s.
Yep, I need to watch it again.
It's so good. It's awesome. It's really awesome. That's what I got. Vertigo. Love it.
Good one.
Okay. Bao, you're up. What do you have?
I've got a standard movie. It's just on Netflix. It's American. It's called Closer, featuring Natalie Portman. Not sure if you guys have heard about it.
No.
It's
Tell
a
us
story
about
about potentially, you could argue, love, potentially hate, revenge even.
Bauer loves the rom-coms.
It's not a rom-com. There's not much calm in there.
Closer?
Closer.
Okay.
Okay. I won't watch this.
Not very PG, but
Okay. OG, what do you have?
I've got Peanut Butter Falcon. Shia LaBeouf, Zach Gostagen. They form a dynamic duo. It's funny. It's heartwarming. Like a few years ago, it got a fair amount of hype, but really, you never hear anybody talk about it anymore. It's worth a watch.
It's a great movie. Bao, you'd love it.
Yeah, you've never seen it?
never heard of it.
Oh, you'll really enjoy it. Yeah.
Okay, so I've got one. Heat. Just Heat. Not the Heat.
The old one.
The old from the 90s.
Yeah.
I wrote down Legacy Game. De Niro, Pacino, Val Kilmer. All have legacy games. It's
Three great actors.
So I think it's 3.5 hours. Is that correct, Bao?
It was long.
Because we wanted to start. We had a couple buddies over one night, a few of us, and it was like 11:30, and we're like, we want to watch Heat, but like probably not the best night to start it. Watch Heat. It's like I've seen it once, and then it's like top 15 ever for me. So it's just gonna get better. It's perfect. That's what I have. Heat. Go ahead, Bao.
Going back to foreign, going back to animated. We're going to go Ghost in the Shell. Similar to Matrix.
It's a deep cut.
Incredible movie. Philosophical. It's a slight deep cut. It's not that deep of a cut. 1990s.
I'm not writing that down.
Okay. It's a great movie. 5 stars as well.
Foreign movie animated from where?
I believe Japan.
Yeah,
Could be wrong about
they
that.
They make good movies.
Okay.
They make great
I'll
movies.
write it down and watch the trailer. What's it called again?
Ghost in the Shell. It's very similar to The Matrix.
There's no way this
Very similar to what
It
Matrix.
came out before The Matrix as well.
at that.
Okay.
At
It's a
that?
cartoon.
It is a cartoon.
Okay.
You could call it a cartoon. You could call it an anime.
Oh, he's definitely not watching.
Oh my god, if it's anime.
It's animated and it's in Japan, which is the definition of anime.
Okay.
Terrible.
Do you have a movie? Stop, Bauer. I'm glad that you put this on my radar. I'm gonna look into it.
Hey, thank you.
OG, do you have a movie?
I wrote it down. I do. American Psycho.
Oof.
Crazy character. Christian Bale was awesome.
5 stars
It's
for
a
me.
lunatic, crazy show. Like, he is an absolute goofball with his business cards and his reservations and the way he talks to people. And then he just chumps them up. Like, it's completely unrealistic, but it's pretty entertaining.
Hilarious, almost.
Yes, it's funny how stupid it is.
Yep.
Worth a watch.
Campy.
So I'll just say I don't like that movie, but I'm not here to. I respect it. Not for me. It's a little out there.
Fair enough. Okay.
4, Sound of Metal. Do you see it, Bal?
I saw that. That's
No.
a 4.5.
So I think this might be Blake's favorite movie ever.
Wow.
And OG, you love Blake, so you have to watch this.
I do like Blake a lot.
About the drummer.
Hair's kind of...
Okay, it's about a drummer who loses his hearing, and it's just super awesome.
Oh, I did hear about this. Okay.
Yeah,
Which is a little ironic considering you lost his hearing.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I think. Watch
Okay.
Sound of Metal, everybody. You'll love
All
it.
right,
It's great.
good. I got some movies to write down here.
Okay, one more. What do you have?
I have one more. I wanted to pull a deep cut, an 80s cut. So this film was actually filmed in 1978. I didn't watch it until the 80s. Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke. It's a deep cut. Anybody who's of my vintage is going to say, Tal, that's hilarious. It's a couple of potheads in California, completely inappropriate, but funny as hell. You're going to pee your pants laughing.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
Not on my radar.
No, it's okay, but watch a couple clips. It's
Okay.
silly.
Yeah, Bao, go ahead.
Do you have one more, Isaac? Because I'm going to lead with my next one into the next mini impromptu segment of the show.
Oh, that's great stuff. Okay, so I'll do my last one.
Yep.
And I'll actually just let OG talk about it. Air.
So good. Like, obviously, Urban Paul is a big fan of the show. Him and Dave have more Air Jordans
These
than
are
anybody I know.
his friends.
Toronto people that love the Air Jordans. I liked the movie for a lot of reasons. Again, I didn't see it right away, and you said you got to watch it. I like the way they were able to capture the technology. I like the way they spent a fair amount of time talking about, well, what if we just paid the $5,000 fine every day when he got it? I like it. It's a good example of how Michael Jordan changed the game literally, financially, and with fans. I loved Air.
Air, it's 4.5, sniffing 5 out of 5. I love that movie.
4.5.
It's great. It's super awesome. It's on Amazon Prime as well, so everyone can watch it there.
Yeah, worth a watch.
Bao, go ahead.
I've cheated a little bit here. I have a 3-in-1, but we're going to start off with the next segment of the show, which is most anticipated movies coming out in the U.S. January 17th, 2025. Isaac, you tell me yours.
My most anticipated movie of January 17th, 2025 is Paddington in Peru, or Paddington 3. I will be there opening night, no matter what. Bauer, thoughts on Paddington? Go ahead, buddy.
Paddington, one of, if not my favorite movie of all time, Paddington 2 specifically. That's why this part is a 3-for-1. I'm going to go Paddington 2, Paddington 1, and Wonka, all directed by Paul King. Absolute masterpieces. We have another 2 movies actually coming out on January 17, 2025. It was mostly just to announce Paddington in Peru, but there's also Wolfman and Better Man.
I have Paddington lore. OG played Paddington in a school play. Talk about that. True story.
When I was a young lad, I was the talkative child in class. Shocker. Anyway, we did Paddington Bear. Like, I played Paddington Bear. Like, I got the whipped cream pie in the face on the stage. Martino was sick a lot, so he had to like kind of fudge some of his lines. But yeah, of course, you played Paddington. Who's gonna play Paddington Bear? That's me. So I don't think the movies are as good as you guys think.
They're awesome. The movies are awesome. They're about your life story, growing up in Peru with your aunt and uncle before you left for England. Paddington movies, Paddington 3. Bauer, your mission is to make him watch the first 2 Paddington so he sees Paddington 3 opening night with.
You've never seen either of the Paddingtons, and you are Paddington.
I watched.
He just starred in them.
Some of the first one. A lot of times when you start in the movie, you don't really get as vested, but
it's like me and Batman.
I'll watch.
Okay, so the last topic here, Bauer. Whatever you want to throw at us, questions, topics. We don't know what to expect, but we'll just let you go, buddy.
All right. Well, one of my questions was answered earlier in the podcast. Nobody will know what the question is, but it was answered.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite questions that I have for you guys. Favorite life moment together where father and son bonded.
Ooh,
my birth.
My birth.
No.
Okay, so let's see. So sports is easy. So
we've had a lot of good ones. I mean, honestly, I got a call a long time ago when we watched the Detroit Tigers in a playoff game, and I think like 2000 and I don't know, 10 maybe. No, 2012.
I was probably 7.
2012. You were a little kid, and we sat right behind home plate. We were on the TV nonstop. And I said to Isaac, these might be the best seats you ever get in your life. And it was pretty amazing. Tigers winning a playoff game.
Okay, so that I don't remember. So I won't use that one. Easy Lions Rams comes to the top of my mind.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Lions Rams is...
Like, I know this wasn't supposed to be a sports topic, Bal, but it is, inevitably. Let's see.
Sport
136 episodes of this is kind of something.
That's kind of something. Avengers 1 like 2012 when that came out. I remember that very well.
Yeah.
Rambo Last Blood. That's a deeper cut, but I remember that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It'd be like what cool sport? Like it'd be the coolest sports thing we saw. I would say Lions Rams.
We have 20 different things like
let's recreate.
Rolling up on our bikes to Manhattan and shooting hoop with Gary Vee and his team.
Yeah, metal.
Like, that was awesome.
And that was within the last week.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks.
Ask us in a couple weeks. We'll have a different answer.
That's
bro.
a good point. Yeah.
Okay. What else? What else, do you have, Bal?
Life is always changing. I do have another one. This one is more focused on Tal, but we can flip the question to also work for Isaac.
Sure.
Okay.
So how has raising Isaac as a son changed your perspective on him, on life, changed any sort of perspective?
So raising Isaac, and I think I just need to say being a father, right? Because I have 2 kids.
Yeah,
right.
Obviously, Alex.
Shout out Alex.
Isn't kind of manic like us, so we don't spend as much time together. But it's allowed me to try and continue to empathize with young generation, right? I think it's super important from work, from life, so that way I can empathize with different generations. I've always said you need to be a chameleon in life and adapt to your situation, whether you're talking to an 80-year-old or an 8-year-old. You need to be able to connect with them in some way, and I think having kids has allowed me to do that. I'll say better than most people my age.
You know what Aura is? You know what Riz is?
Yeah, I do. I think, most of the time when your kids get a little bit older, like I think I've talked about it this on the show a little bit. When Isaac was a little kid, he was extremely challenging, right? He was very difficult. Then he got to be about 7, and he was just a fun, active kid. And that
comeback player of the year.
Changed that. You've comeback player of the year because he was about sent to the minors for a long time.
Okay.
He cried for about the first 2 weeks of JK and SK.
Too bad I don't remember it.
Yeah, too bad. It's okay. Aspis Lepico.
Yeah. I was 4 years old.
I think, as you evolve as a parent, you have to spend less time kind of parenting and more time just kind of experiencing and doing things. But I still think at times you have to parent, even if your kids are 23 and 21 years old. Not a lot. Sometimes those aren't the funnest conversations to have. But I think it's incumbent upon a good parent to continue to do that throughout their lives.
Yeah, we talk about serious, real life things all the time too. So
Not all the time, some of the time.
yeah.
As an aspiring parent, that answer really resonated with me.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Now,
welcome.
What's up,
I'm
pal?
going to spin the question so that Isaac can answer in the same sort of way. How has having Tal as a father changed your perspective on life? When did you sort of like take to his teachings maybe? As he said, you were more of a difficult child before the ages of 7
Buddy,
or 8.
I don't remember. Okay, here's the thing. Both my parents are my dogs, right? So like that's great stuff. Let's see. So like they both did. You know, you guys are doing great stuff. 1 for 2, good batting average. Sorry. Do I have to cut that or no? No, that's fine.
I'll leave it
Keep
in.
rolling. Keep going.
No, like it's similar to what he said, just on like the opposite spectrum, right? It's like on the opposite end where it's like,
Well, it's interesting when we bump into people and you're like, oh my God, you're Isaac's dad. You're like him. Or, I mean, it's more often relevant for you when you're like, you have to be Tal's son.
yeah,
People who didn't even know me or know the connection.
yeah, all the time. It's like, yeah, I'm telling someone like, oh yeah, you talk, you know, it makes sense. Like I'm like, yeah, it's great stuff. So like that line is just hammered to me like throughout work or through like any of my jobs or school stuff where it's just, and it's a good thing, fortunately. So like I just kind of like embrace it and just wear it and be like, yep, let's roll, right? Let it rip, dude. So that's what I got on that, pal. Do you have
Thank you
anything
very
else?
much.
Any other topics? What else?
That's it for me, yeah.
Okay.
We're at about 50 minutes here.
Perfect.
seems
We're
perfect.
passing the 15-minute mark. Folks, remember we got, like, you can watch us everywhere on YouTube. You can listen. Well, actually, you
I
can
want
only
bow
watch us
closing
on YouTube.
remarks. Bow closing remarks.
But Spotify, Google Play, tell your friends. And also, if you have things that you would like us to discuss, thanks, Coach Rob. Your topic's coming up. Please send them. Please
Shout
send
out-
those messages our way.
yeah, show Coach Rob.
Yep.
Shout out Isaac and Tal for having me on this podcast.
Shout out Coach Rob.
Shout out Coach Rob for sure.
Okay.
Absolute local
About
legend.
any closing remarks. Wrap it up, brother.
Closing remarks. This has been a great podcast. I want to thank Isaac and Tal once again for having me on this podcast. Thank you, Old Man Wiz, for inviting me into Isaac's life and therefore Tal's life. Shout out Amherstburg. Get a house in Amherstburg.
Okay.